Alright, let's talk about your test paper, the one that you did for ratio, okay, for primary 6. Okay, now note, this is 10% of your PSLE weightage. Okay, let's start with question 1. You have got 3 stacks of newspapers. They are 4, 3, and 2. Heaviest stack is 32 kg. So 4 units is the one that's heaviest. That's 32. And 1 unit will be 32 divided by 4. And gives you 8. What is your total mass? Okay, so you have got 4 plus 3 plus 2. That gives you the total number of units, which is 9 units. So we are interested to find 9 units. Okay, let's just put it as a short form. 9 units is 9 times 8, which gives you 72. Now notice units is not given here. So if you have forgotten your units, that's half a mark gone. Okay, next. Now question 2, you have got this laminate. Now you know laminate is very sour, which is why you need to add syrup and the water into it. Every 7 units of syrup, you shall add 8 units into it. So that gives your whole laminate 15 units total. Now it's very hard to divide this kind of units because it's divided into liters and milliliters. So what I will do, 1 liter, convert it into 1000 milliliters, and 95 is just 95, which gives you 1095. So this 15 units is actually equals to 1095. Alright, now you want to find 1 unit, you will have to do a 1095 divided by 15, which is very difficult, double digit numbers. So what I could do is 1095 is the same as 1095 divided by 15. It's the same as the fraction like that. So what I could do is actually to make the number smaller. My aim is to make the denominator very small. I can divide everything by 5. It looks like it's easy to divide by 5. Which is going to give me 219 over 3. Okay, so 219 over 3 is the same as 219 divided by 3, isn't it? So this is so much easier to divide. The answer 73 for 1 unit. And you're supposed to find out how much laminate. Now, laminate syrup is worth 7 units in total. So 73 times 7 is going to give you 511 milliliters, by the way. So there's no liters, there's only milliliters. 511. That's the answer. So whenever you have a divisor that is double digit, always try to make sure you can change it to single digit. Because in primary mathematics, even in secondary school mathematics, we do not learn divisor up to 2 digits at all. So it is to test whether you understand how to convert this into a fraction and into a single digit denominator. Alright, now let's go on. Question 3, I was very disappointed because in class you're able to tell me the problem is one is in cents, the other one is in dollar, but many of you just express it as it is without changing anything. 5 cents is just 5 cents. $2, I would like to change it all to the same units. $1 is 100 cents. $2 will be 200 cents. So the answer, 5 is to 200. But because I want it in the simplest form, I'm going to divide everything by 5. Divide it by 5, and I get 1 is 2. 200 divided by 5 will be 40. Answer, 1 is to 40. So make sure when you compare against two things, the units are the same first. In science, it's the same because we want to make sure it is a fair test. Right? So maths, if one unit is in cents, the other one is in dollar, changed it. Let's go to question 4. Now you have got a jacket and you have got a shirt. A jacket is 32 and a shirt is $8 more, so 32 plus 8. which is going to give you 32 is to 40. So let's check the order. They want the jacket first, then the shirt. So the jacket is 32, the shirt is 40, the order is correct. What I can do, I can divide it slowly. If I can't divide properly, I divide it by 2 first. 32 divided by 2, 16. 40 divided by 2, 20. Alright, I know I can make it even simpler. I can divide by 2 some more. So it is 8 is to 10. I know I can still divide it some more until I can no longer simplify it. So 4 is to 5 is the answer. Alright. Now, question 5. You have got Julie and you have got Ant. 3 is to 5. And they say that the ratio of the third person, May, is to N will be 2 is to 1. Now, May is 2. N is 1. Alright. So, same thing. You notice that because we are talking about the same person, N didn't change, but the ratio are different. So, we will need to expand this out into 3 is to 5 is to 10. Alright, so the answer 3 is to 5 is to 10. Now I noticed a mistake in the answer key that I was marking with. If I have marked you wrongly, this should be the correct answer. Could you help me please change the mark accordingly? Question 6. The ratio of the length of a rectangle. Every time I see a rectangle, I draw it out. Length is 5, breadth is 6. So the opposites are the same. And I know that the parameter is 44. So let's find out 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 6. 22 units. Now 22 units, we're too close to each other. 22 units will refer to 44. Right, 1 unit will be 44 divided by 22. You know 2 times of 22 makes 44, so it must be 2. You want the area. Now let's find out how much is 5 units first. 5 units will be 2 times 5, this is 10. 6 units will be 2 times 6, this is 12. Now area is length times breadth, right? So area will be the same as 10, which is the length, times 12. Now you don't have to do any calculations because if you can remember, you just need to bring a 0 forward. You get 1, 2, 0 answer. Question 7. You have got the ratio of cities to Tracy, city to Tracy, 4 is to 7. And you want cities' age as a fraction. Cities' age as a fraction to their total age. So city in this case is 4. The total will be 4 plus, anyway this T stands for Tracy, not total, 7. Which gives you 4/11. So because they want the answer in fraction, just nice. The answer 4/11. 4 fraction, not ratio. So we want it as 4/11. Question number 8. So same thing like the lemon syrup and the water. You have flour and you have sugar to make a donut. You have got 90, you have got 20. Now they are very big numbers to play with. So what I could do is I can strike off all the zeros. 9 is to 2. So for every donut you need 9 parts of flour and 2 parts of sugar. Okay. Now the thing is, if you want to make 5 of such donut, okay, I might have made the mistake here. I probably will not want to simplify it because once I simplify it becomes units. I'll rather keep it to grams since our final answer has to be in grams. So 90 is to 20. Alright, that's for 1 donut. Now, for me to make 5 donuts of the same types, everything multiplies by 5. Okay, 90 gram becomes 450 grams. 20 times 5 donuts gives you 100. So for flour, I will need 450. For the sugar, I will use 100 grams. Okay, notice why I didn't simplify, because I regretted my decision. Since they are all in grams, I keep it to grams. We are interested to find grams anyway. Question 9. You have got this girl, Sumin, who has 3 times as much money as Kasim. So the parts are 3:1. And their total gives you 4 units. Alright, so this 4 units, they told you that is a total of $96. I have 1 unit here, which will be 96 divided by 4, giving me $24. Now let's find out how much is Sumin's money. Sumin has 3 units of it. So 24 times 3 would give you $72. So you want to find out fraction of the total amount of money was Sumin's one. So the fraction is, I want Sumin out of what is the total. Sumin will be 72 and the total will be already set is 96, right? So we're going to simplify. Again, you can do it very slowly. In the video, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to get you the answer 3/4. Okay? So you can divide slowly and you can divide and divide and divide till you get the simplest possible. Okay. Question 10. You have got jug A to jug B. A is to B. 2:5. Now, if half of the water in jug B is going to pour into jug A. Alright. Now, half. This 5 is an odd number. It's very difficult for me to take out half of it. So, one idea that came to my mind now is, why not I expand this into a double? They will still mean the same thing. They are expanded. But because now I've made this odd number into an even number, I'm able to take half of this 10. Now, by taking half of this 10, I'm going to pour it to jug A. So, half of it, I'm left with 5. And whereas for jug A, I've added a 5 unit part to it. So, this becomes 9. The answer, you want a ratio A is to B, 9:5. So, again, like how we have done it in class, you may also label it after. And this is before. Okay, I simply expanded the ratio so that it is easier for me to take out half of it. Otherwise, I'll end up with a decimal, which is a weird combination. Okay, let's turn to question 11. Question 11, you have got this CCA called the IT club. You have got boys to girls, which is 3:7. So that's what they told us. 3:7. And a week later, 32 boys joined and the number of boys and girls became equal. So this happens to what? Before someone's joined. And then we have another one for after. Now, again, the question to ask ourselves, if 32 boys join, then the first thing I always like to tell myself, what didn't change? It is the girls that did not change, right? Now, if the girls did not change, there will still be 7. And they said that after joining, the number of girls and boys became equal. So that means if girls is still 7, boys will also got to be 7. Now, how did 3 become 7? Because of an addition of 4 units. Alright, did they say how much is this? How many is this? 4 units? They did. Because they say after this 4 units join, which is the 32 boys, then the units became equal. So 1 unit will be 32 divided by 4, which is 8. Now, how many more boys than girls were there at first? Okay, now this is easy because it is because of this 32 that causes the difference to be leveled up. All of them ended up being equal. So this 32 before they joined was the one that caused the difference. So the answer must be 32. That's for part A. Part B, how many members were there in the club? Finally. Finally means after, right? So after that, you have got a total of 14 units. Now, how did I get 14 units? 7 boys, 7 girls. 14 units in total. 8 times 14 112. Okay, because of the total number of units is 14 now. 7 plus 7, that gives you 14. This one, interesting. You have got child and adult. The tickets is 2:3. Now this makes sense because usually in any kinds of attractions, adults always have to pay more. Alright, now the story goes like this. Mrs. Lim, now we know Mrs. Lim is an adult, and she's going to this bird park with 2 children. Now because of that, you know that because child is 2 units, adults 3 units, how many units will Mrs. Lim have to pay? Mrs. Lim is a 3 unit, one child is 2 units, another child is 2 units. So in fact, Mrs. Lim have to pay a total of 7 units. And this 7 units actually was said in the story, right? They said that $14 is what she paid. Very nice number again, so it gives you the confidence. 14 divided by 7 is $2 per unit. What is the cost of an adult? An adult is worth 3 units. Alright, an adult is worth 3 units. So $2 times 3 units, the answer $6. A few of you were very careless. You had your $2, but you multiply them by 2, thinking that the one that is being paid adults is 2 units. It's actually 3 units. Okay, as written here. Alright, let's go on to 13. You have got the age question. Now, the moment when you see age question, always remind yourself in the question, what didn't change? Usually, when we talk about comparison of age between 2 people, their difference don't change. So let's take a look at the ratio now. We have got Mark, we have got Dan, and that is for now. Okay, we have got 3:1. 25 years later, which is 25 years later, so I'm going to put a note here, it became 4:3. Okay, again a column that says the difference, because we now know that the difference don't change. The difference is 2, the difference here is 1, which doesn't make sense, because 25 years later, their difference still ought to be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this all across by 2 to make sure that the difference stays the same. And in class, we always do this as a habit. Now we cross out the O ratio, the ratio that we don't use anymore. Okay, so M from 3 units became 8 units. So the difference in the unit is now 5. And this 5 units happens because 25 years has passed. So the 1 unit goes to 25 divided by 5 gives you 5. You want to find Mark's present, which is now. Mark is now 3 units. Okay, if you look at the ratio, which is 5 times 3. 15 is the answer. Now the problem with some of you, your ratios are floating around, which makes it very difficult to see. What I presented always in class and always in class telling you this, you present your ratio up, down, so that you can see the comparison easy. Alright, and the difference didn't change. I forgot to circle that. Circle the number that didn't change, that you're supposed to make it into the same. Alright. Question 14 now. Okay, question 14, I have one person in the class who got it right. The rest, you died somewhere in your steps. So let's do this together. Jenny bought some pears, mangoes, oranges, and the amount that she spent was, let's talk about pear, mango, orange, 6, 3, 5. Okay, now did they say how much was being spent? They did say, they said that this Jenny bought a total of $42. So 14 units will, common sense, will stand for this amount that she spent, which is on $42. Alright, now for 1 unit, which most of you have gotten that 1 unit, you divided by 14, which gave you a 3, which is good. Okay, now let's read on the story. Each orange costs 25 cents. Now this orange, 5 stands for 5 units, the number of the amount of money that was spent. And you know that 1 unit is 3. So let's talk about orange. Since we have been talking about orange and they are telling us orange is 25 cents each, we're going to take 5 units. We want to multiply to get 15. Okay, so $15 was actually the amount spent on orange, but we don't know this too. This is talking about money, so I put a small note here, amount spent. Now if you know that you spent $15 on orange and each orange is 25 cents, do you think you can find the number of fruits or number of oranges that this person bought? 1 orange is 25 cents. You bought a total of $15. So with your calculator, because this is paper 2, you could actually do a division over here to get the number of oranges that this person actually bought. Since it is all in dollars, we're going to change it all to dollars. 60 oranges was being bought. Okay, clear so far? There's 2 different rows. One row talks about the amount of money spent on orange, actual amount. This is just units. And the second row talks about how many was actually being bought. With this $15 and the orange is 25 cents. So we divide and I'll know that, hey, this Jenny actually bought 60 of such oranges, 25 cents each. Alright, now let's move on. The ratio of the number of pears to orange was 2:3. Now orange over here, 60. They told you this one we found out 60 is the number of oranges. And they told us that this orange is actually 3 units. So this 3 units actually stands for 60 oranges bought. 1 unit will be 60 divided by 3, which gives 20. Now we know orange, let's find pear. Pear is 2 units. Because they did say that the ratio, the number of pears to orange, 2:3. 2 units, 2 times 20, that gives you $40. 40 pairs, not dollars. This is 40 pairs in total. So we now know 40. Okay, we don't even need to solve this because the question didn't ask for it anyway. Alright, so that's for the orange and the pear question. Let's move on to question 15, the complicating one. Okay, you have got 3 people. They bought a present for their father. The ratio of the amount paid by Ellen to the total amount paid by Ben and Colleen. So I'm going to write down the 3 people. They are A, B, and C. Ellen paid 1 unit. Now, total amount paid by Ben and Colleen is 1:3. Okay, so this 3 actually refers to the total by Ben and C, Colleen. So they didn't exactly tell you how many units for Ben. They didn't tell you how many units for Colleen. But they told you 2 of them adds up to a total of 3. Alright. Now because of that, we can actually derive one row that says the total, which is 4. I'm going to explain to you why I want this column total later on. Okay. Now second clue that they gave was this. They said the amount paid by Ben is now 1 unit. Ben is now 1 unit. Okay. I'm just going to erase this so that it is not confusing for you. These 2 are still unknown. We only know they add up to 3, but we don't know how much. Now, the amount paid by Ben is 1. To the total amount paid by Ellen and Colleen. Same thing, they don't tell you how much Alan and Colin has, but they only told you Ben has got 1. And Alan and Colin is A plus C gives you 5. So 5 makes up this empty box and this empty box here, plus what Ben pays, actually a total of 6 units. So far understood, because 1, which is what Ben paid, plus the 5 units and both contributed, it gives a total of 6 units. Now this question, we are talking about the same present. And this same present ought to be the same cost under 2 different situations. So, if you look at it this way, the totals shouldn't change. Because under the 2 different situations, yes, we are talking about 2 different situations, but we are talking about the same present. The totals do not change at all. Okay, now because of that, 6 and 4, I need to make the totals look the same. And for me to do that, I have to make them into a common number. So for 4 to become a common multiple of 6, it would be, I can find a 3. I will have to multiply across to get all 3. So the new ratio now is, I'm just going to arrow over here, 3 is to don't know, and the total is 12. The next scenario, I'm going to multiply this by 2 because the total, I want it to be a common number, which is 12 as well. So times 2 and times 2 and times 2. Still over here, I don't know what is the number. 1 times 2 gives you a 2 for Ben, whereas a blank times 2, I still don't know what is the number. Now, both ratio is now equals to a total of 12. So we know this is for A, this is for B, this is for C. Alright. Now A will be 3. B we now know is 2. Now we don't know how much is C, but we know the total is still 12. So do you think you are able to find how many units C is made up of? You can simply take 12 minus 3 minus 2, which gives you a total of 7 units. So this actually refers to 7. Alright. Colin paid $60 more than Ben. Now Colin and Ben, how many units difference? It's a difference of 5 units. So what I'm going to do is, the difference between the two of them is actually 5 units, and the 5 units was being said to be $60 more. So $60 is for 5 units. 1 unit is 60 divided by 5, which will give me 12. Now let's go to the question now. We finally arrived at the question. How much did the present cost? Now if the present cost 12 units in total, that's when I will want to do 12 times 12, which will give me 144 as the answer. And the answer over here is in dollars, 144. Alright. So let's go back and recap. You notice again, I presented my ratio up, down, this way, in a table form. And I tell myself the totals didn't change. Alright, which have been something that we have been learning in class all the while. Let's go on to question 16, which is also our last question for the paper. Okay, you have got 2 plates, X and Y. Now this makes a very good question for you to do a table form. If you remember our heuristics that we're supposed to learn last month, we are supposed to be looking at making a list, making a table to understand the problem better. So since there are 2 categories of items, I'm just going to make a table form. Alright, one talks about plate X, the other one talks about plate Y, depending how you want to present your table. So let's start with plate X first. You have got a ratio of the mint and butter, 5:3. So mint, I will put it as M, butter, 5:3. Now let's plug in all the numbers first. In plate Y, mint to butter, 3:1. Mint to butter, 3 is to 1. Now next sentence says this. There were 4 times as many cookies in plate X and in plate Y. I guess they are talking about the total number of cookies. X obviously holds more cookies, right? So for that, I would like to have a total column because we're comparing the total number of cookies from X and Y. Total will be 8 units. For here, total will be 4 units. Okay, now as you would see now, the total is merely just double. Okay, it's merely just double. So how can I make the total over here look like it's 4 times bigger than this one? I can actually multiply this, right? I can expand this ratio. I can expand it double, for example. Now if I expand this double, it will be 10 is to 6. I can make a guess, alright, and check later. If I have 10 and 6, I will get a total of 16. Now, take a look at the new ratio. I'm going to cross out again. 16 is the new total, whereas 4 is the total for Y. Are they 4 times difference? 16 versus 4? Alright, so that fulfills my condition over here. X has 4 times as much as Y. So in the real examination like this, sometimes I can do a little bit of guessing and checking. I can expand it 2 times, I can expand it 3 times to see if the total tallies. Alright, what is the ratio of the number of butter in X compared to butter in Y? So butter is now 6, and then the butter in Y is 1. Answer, 6 is to 1. Okay, that gives you your first answer, 6 is to 1. Now, when 76 butter cookies were put in plate Y, the ratio of the number of mint to butter in plate Y became 2 is to 7. So we have the before and after again. This is before and this is after. Again, asked you this. If you have butter being put in, what didn't change? It must be the mint, right? The mint didn't change. I'm going to circle the mint because the mint didn't change. Now, if the mint didn't change in Y, why is it that the two numbers are different? We will need to express them into common number, common multiple. So the common multiple that I can find here will be 6. I have to multiply everything by 2. 6 is to 2. I crossed out the old ratio. Over here, I have to multiply this by 3 because I want to expand this to become 6 as well. This becomes 6 to 21. I cross out the useless ratio. Okay, now from 2 units to 21, how many units have increased? It's a total of 19, right? 21 minus 2 gives you 19. And this 19 units happens because 76 cookies were added in. So 21 minus 2 is 19. And I know this 19 units, why it increases is because 76 cookies were added. So 1 unit will be, this is a calculator, so I can use a calculator to solve. How many butter at first? Now butter is now at first will be actually now 2 units. So for me to find that, it will be 2 units. It's the same as 4 times 2, which is 8, as your final answer. Because the butter is 2 units at first before. Don't look at the old ratio anymore. I've crossed them out. Okay, so that concludes the topic for this paper, ratio. Hope you have learned something from this paper as well.